all different to maybe some of the competitions?
It's sort of got a conical core, so it's very strong. So it's got this chip breaker, and we've got a sort of a good geometry on it that enables it to be used on these sort of multi-materials.
Mm-hmm. And one of the famous Sandvik coatings?
And of course one of grades and coatings, yes.
Mm-hmm. And if we move on to the second tool?
The second tool we call a Matsuura HD, it's a heavy duty. So it's a heavy duty tool, it's got a very unique sort of chip geometry. So even though it's got sort of 4 to 5 flutes depending on diameter, we can do up to 2 times the full slot.
We're standing in front of the DVF 6500 5-axis machine. Why have we selected this model to look at?
Well, it's sort of our go-to 5-axis machine centred in our portfolio, and the applications that we've been looking at throughout the past 12 to 18 months, customers are looking into 5-axis. It's the middle range for us in respect that we've got the 5000, which is the smallest model, then we've got the 6500, and we've also got the 8000.
Today's a partnership between CIS and Vargus. Tell us about the part, please.
Yeah, the part that Vargus asked us to have a look at, etc. We decided to use a waveform strategy. The CAM system we use is EdgeCam. We also decided to helical the middle out to produce the bores at the same time. And the main exercise for this part was to show that a TMDR, which can produce a thread with one tool, is quicker than using a standard drill, tap and spot drill.
So what is it that's so good about these particular machines? Because there's a lot of competition out there for full simultaneous 5-axis machines.
Yep. Yeah, the accuracy of the machine is certainly very impressive. The options that you're able to fit onto it, at the moment we're currently machining something with 70 bar through coolant spindle pressure, so we're able to deep hole drill ourselves as well. We do all manner of parts from a lot of industries, including aerospace, defence, oil and gas. So really having that versatile machine that can hit those accurate tolerances is really important for us, and that's what the MX520 has done for us, hence the 2 machines behind me.
And what was the transition? What have you had to learn, and how long did it take for you to learn to go up to a machine like this?
Well, I went from a single tool post to having a turret. I did one lesson at XYZ, picked up the rest myself.
So what parts and materials are you putting on this machine?
At the moment, we're running these parts made of aluminium. As you can see, they've got a nice bit of threading, and undercutting, drilling and tapping in them. We're also capable of doing polygon turning, intermittent cutting and broaching.
And it's a solid machine, isn't it? Let's talk about that spindle motor. 24 horsepower, 17 kilowatt, 4K spindle on there. So, you know, these are smaller parts, but you can do big, beefier parts too. Darren here at High Spec Precision has recently invested in not 1, not 2, but 3 different types of style, shall we say, of microlock work holding. I want you to get excited about these dates, November the 1st to the 5th. And the reason being is because Fanuc are holding an event, not over the internet, live in person here at your HQ,
real
aren't
event.
you?
What's your intention with this machine?
To be honest with you, when we first looked at the machine, it was well over a year ago. We ordered the machine literally without a second viewing.
Hello and welcome to this week's MTD podcast. I am Colin Griffiths for MTD. It'd be a bit random if I wasn't for MTD because it wouldn't be an MTD podcast. But we were discussing off air what I've done to you, Jeff. Have I taken you hostage?
I think so, Colin. I think it was a case of, well, you're here now.
Yeah, you're doing it, so you've got no choice. So this is completely unscripted. So if we go off tangent, that's an oxymoron as well, I think.
So it could happen, yeah.
It could. So, but first of all, Jeff, who are you and where are you from?
Well, firstly, Colin, thank you for asking me to take part. I appreciate that. I'm Jeff Gartland. I'm Managing Director of PSL DataTrack, suppliers of production control software for precision engineering companies.
There you go. That's all done. Thank you very much for listening to this week's podcast. I joke.
Short and sweet.
Absolutely, but it's not a sales pitch about PSL DataTrack. Of course it is. But we want to find out more about this. But we haven't got a script. It is, as I said, we've taken you hostage. We want to find out all about PSL DataTrack and what on earth will it do to my machine? I'm running an efficient machine shop. I don't need you guys coming in and telling me how to run my machine shop. That's quite brutal, but...
Well, in terms of machines, I agree totally, Colin. In terms of machines, I'll leave that to you. But
no, don't leave it to me. That'd be your first big mistake.
You as the listener.
As a listener. But if I go, well, I've got my machine shop that's all running smoothly. The machines are making fantastic components. I've got some great engineers. How are you going to help them?
Well, okay, so the business side of it. So obviously the precision engineering side of it, the engineering side of it, that's often the thing that the subcontractor is really good at. Often they founded the business because of a passion they have, and the business side is something that has to happen, and it happens maybe in not a haphazard way. That's not quite a fair term, but it just evolves.
Oh, I've been to some machine shops. It's a haphazard way. We won't name them.
So what DataTrack does, we try to simplify everything that the subcontractor has to do to run their business. So starting with the quotation all the way through to producing the final invoice to the customer, but all the steps in between, whether it's quality, whether it's scheduling, whether it's data collection, whether it's purchasing, stock control, everything is managed through the system.
Okay, don't list them all, but how many modules have you got?
It's in excess of 26.
Wow. And growing all the time?
Growing all the time, growing based on demand, really. So all the modules are up for review on an ongoing basis in terms of adding new functionality, new features. We run an active wish list system, so existing customers can send in ideas for improvement, new ideas, and we look at encompassing as many of those new features as we can, as is practical. And new modules get developed as and when there's a demand.
I'm having a wry chuckle to myself because has anybody ever sent an idea, and don't name them, of course, you can name if you want to, but sent an idea and you've looked at it and the team have looked at it and gone, what on earth are they on about?
It's happened a couple of times.
Okay, can we get some names?
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay, just write them down and we'll...
Not on air.
Okay, that's fair enough. But that's part of your, I mean, it's an off-the-shelf product.
Yeah.
But you're tailoring it, bespoking it, whatever you...
Well, yeah, the challenges, if you like, that have to be addressed are, if you go for a standard system that is purely standard, it'll be too rigid. It won't provide the rich depth of functionality you need. If you go down the route of designing a bespoke system, it will just have that one company's ideas. It'd be very expensive to develop, very difficult to support. Think of DataTrack as a hybrid, if you like, in terms of we have a core system, which is our standard product, with a huge number of configuration options. So we can set rules within the system for how it operates, as well as which modules the customer has.
Swarf Talk. Every first of the month, we go deep into a topic providing foresight, education, and answers to common engineering dilemmas. This is an additional programme complementing our popular 10-minute topics, and will take some of those everyday machine shop issues and address them head on in a feature-length show. First up, July the 1st, we tackle the subject of machining centre efficiency. If you own or operate a 3-axis machining centre, this programme could help you get more from it. Paul, Joe, Chloe, Gio and myself look at every aspect of machining centre output, from the tooling used, the cutting tools, part and tool measurement, swarf, coolant and automation. It really is the only show like it in the industry, and yet another reason to follow all of our Swarf and Chips activity. Other topics in discussion in the coming months include sliding head machining, milling, work holding and cutting tool innovations on turning. So a date for your diary, July the 1st, and in fact every first of the month going forward. A show sponsored by Interco. We are breaking new ground on educating the engineers of today and the future.